I ask you to please join me in welcoming the class salutatorian, Sullivan Walsh, to the stage to deliver this evening's salutatorian.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sullivan Walsh, and thank you for coming to celebrate the class of 2019 as we move on from St. Joe's and take our first steps into the rest of our lives. I'm sure that many of you will agree with me when I say that today is bittersweet. On one hand, it's great to be graduating and moving on from high school after 4 years here, but on the other hand, I have to give a speech. And I'd like you to keep in mind that this is supposed to be a reward for having done well in school. I guess it's a good thing I took public speaking this year, because I would stand no chance up here otherwise. And while it has helped a lot, there are quite a few more people here than there ever was in the lecture hall. All the same, it is an honor to be up here, speaking at what has the makings to be a lifelong memory. To say I didn't expect this would be an understatement. I didn't even consider salutatorian a possibility, if I'm being honest. I'd have friends joke and request that I mention them in my speech, even before the first semester of senior year was done. Each time, I'd tell them to stop being ridiculous, that I was not going to be speaking at graduation. I guess I stand corrected, so here you go, Matt Words. The day I actually found out, I was called down to the office where they would tell me. Still under the impression that I had no chance of achieving such a distinction, I convinced myself that my car had been towed. How am I going to get home, I thought. Do I even want to go home where I have to tell my parents? What do I do? It felt like ages before they finally told me. And now, a couple months later, I'm here. And I'm thankful that I didn't back down, because I've realized I have a unique chance to speak about St. Joe's, which has become a second home to me and to so many others graduating tonight. With that, and in no particular order, I give you 7 things I've learned at St. Joe's. I would like to first preface this by recognizing that after 4 whole years here, I've obviously learned more than 7 things. The real number is probably closer to 12. Number 1, starting off strong, I learned to manage my time, or at least that I should manage my time. Throughout all of high school, I probably submitted a total of 2 or 3 essays and projects before the night they were due. It's amazing how quickly 2 weeks to complete an assignment turns into 3.5 periods. Before you'd even know it, you'd still have 3 pages to go and 20 minutes left. This would happen a lot, and each time I would tell myself that it was never going to happen again, but I knew all too well that was simply not true. By now, I'm better than that, or so I like to think. Number 2, senioritis is a very real thing. All 3 years leading up to senior year, I told myself that I was going to be as studious as I had been all through high school. That lasted for all of a week and a half, starting when my password for checking my grades was changed. I no longer could see my grades and how they would raise or drop when a test, quiz, or other assignment was put in. Out of sight, out of mind, I thought. The only time I was able to monitor how well I was doing was at the end of each quarter with a report card. Otherwise, I was completely in the dark. It was kind of nice not knowing how well or not well I was doing, if I'm being honest. And I guess I must have done all right to be up here today. So it all worked out. Number 3, students will do whatever they can to get out of dress code. And it's not like our dress code is bad or anything. It's a shirt and tie, dress pants, a belt, and dress shoes. It's really not that difficult. But that doesn't stop kids from trying. People would walk around with their shirt untucked or unbuttoned and would devise intricate ways to hide it. One such method involved simply hiding an undone top button behind a tie. Another had kids cutting shirts into a sort of bib and hiding them under a sweater, similarly to how it was missing. In extreme cases, kids would milk injuries for months so they could simply wear a polo rather than a shirt and tie. I'm looking at you, Jack, It was kind of impressive the strides people would take to not dress up every day. If we put as much effort into our careers as we did attempting to get away with breaking the dress code, we are bound to be successful. Number 4, No Shave November for the seniors was a great idea. Coming from someone who had to shave for nearly every wrestling tournament I've ever been to, on top of school itself, I very much enjoyed not having to shave for an entire month. One of the main reasons I've been longing for graduation is so I don't have to shave. I'm looking forward to growing out my facial hair, despite what my family may think about it. Number 5, be involved. You only get one shot at high school, and when it's done, it's done. Regrettably, I never really took part in a lot of extracurricular activities. The one big thing I did over the duration of the 4 years was wrestle, and despite difficult practices and grueling tournaments, I can say without a doubt that it was one of the single best experiences I have ever had in my entire life. The people I met are now my best friends. The places I went, I will never forget, and the good times I had will always be held dear. It makes me wish I did more over the past 4 years, because if any activity could amount to even half of what wrestling was for me, it would have been more than worth it. Number 6, take all the help you can get. Nobody is perfect. To think that you are able to manage all of your responsibilities and obligations perfectly is simply unreasonable. Trust me, I've tried. Sometimes you have to swallow your pride and accept that you cannot do everything by yourself. You should not be afraid to seek and accept guidance. Believe me when I say that there are people who are willing to help you with whatever problem you're having, and that it makes it much easier when someone else has your back. Yesterday and the day before, I came into school of my own volition so I could work on this speech which I deliver to you now. The help of Mr. Horner and Mr. Fresina in this capacity turned what was a daunting task in writing this speech into something very enjoyable, and quickly it became into something of which I am very proud. Without assistance like this, I don't know what I would have done with myself in this instance, and in so many others the past 4 years. Number 7, don't forget to have fun along the way. This may very well be the most important of the lessons I've learned at St. Joe's. It is true that high school is very important and pivotal in determining where your life goes from there, so there is great value in doing well. However, what value do these 4 years have if they're only a means to an end? High school is more than just the work you put into it. It's about the experience. I can say that I loved every minute, or most every minute, of my time at the collegiate, and I think there's more value in that than there is in doing better in school at the cost of enjoying it. You can only do so much in 4 years, and the more time you spend working it away, the less time you have to make something truly memorable. So make it count. I would like to wrap up by once again thanking everyone who has made this experience possible. Sisters, mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, grandparents, and especially brothers. I think I speak for the whole of the graduating class when I say that you guys have made my 4 years at St. Joe's the best of my life. From freshman overnight to senior prom, from the career days to graduation practice, from polos to cap and gown, my time here has been incredible. But it only ends here if we let it. We will forever be the graduating class of 2019. Nothing can happen to change that. We've put in the time and the effort to make this possible, so why should it end here? The answer is that it shouldn't. The beauty of St. Joe's is not the 4 years of high school. It's a lifelong commitment to a community, to a family, to a brotherhood. I move on from this school confident that I will always be welcome back, as though not even one day has passed since I left. And I urge that this class stick together and remain as closely connected as we are at this very moment. Come 50 years, I hope that we all do everything within our power to be back here, just as the class of 1969 is tonight. God knows I will. I owe more to St. Joe's than words can express. I will do everything I can to give back to this extraordinary place, and I'm sure much of the graduating class feels the same way. To make something so wonderful out of something so menial as high school is amazing, and a simple thank you doesn't do it justice. So I will conclude my speech the only way I know how. St. John Baptist de La Salle, live Jesus in our hearts. Thank you.